problem here.
Well done. Hi, Andy. And Kelsey, probably. That's the other viewer. Okay. Are we done? Yes? Online?
Yeah, it's like.
Nice, yeah, okay. Top. Okay. Well, welcome to the Blender Institute Weekly. Today we have a 90-minute show, and we will show about the progress of last week. Are we going to show the whole film? No. Okay. It will probably only be 1 hour then. So how are we going to do this? Clockwise? Anti-clockwise? We begin with Pablo, and then we end with me. Yeah, but last time you ended. You talked like for 5 hours, and now we come and keep it short.
Well, it's gonna be short.
Good.
I don't have much to show.
You can also show Andy stuff.
That would be great. Can I do that?
Yeah? But first your stuff and then Andy stuff.
My stuff is.
No, it's good. It's not,
rampant.
I don't care. Your stuff is always awesome.
No, it's not. So this week, Monday, we had a meeting on how to change data because it's the design thing. Yeah, that. Hold on a second. So last week, I finished the week. Let me share. Oh, I'm in the thing. There. So last week, I finished the week with this ostrich-looking thing. I went all fracka about it, and I wasn't supposed to add so much hair. Been looking at pictures of like butterflies, real stuff, and it's not going to play really well with the proportions of everything. Basically, everything is too tiny and small, and this could be easily a 2 meters bird, like the one in Up. Or it's not doesn't give the feeling of the size that we are looking for. So, huh?
Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, yeah.
That's that kind of bird.
Thank you. That's a compliment again.
What is that?
It's a roadrunner.
No, it's a type of bird. No,
Yeah, it's a roadrunner. Yeah.
Something.
No, it's a road. Yeah.
It's called.
Type of bird.
Yeah, it runs the road. Yeah.
The name of the bird.
It actually runs slower than a coyote, by the way.
Good to know.
It's called Wiley.
That would be a very short cartoon.
Yeah, that's right. Ending with the bird.
So at the beginning of the week, in the morning, we decided to move on because this discussion came out in the afternoon. So in the morning, we decided to move on, and Sarah made this. Probably you're going to talk about it in your weekly or not? Well, it's just a design for the wings because, the wings it's a butterfly. So in the previous renders, I didn't have any wings. So ideally, it should look something like this, but something more like this. This is all pictures for reference. They are not ours. So I started with that. I tried to make something look like wings, but as you can see, it's I play with the material and with the existing wings. So the material itself sort of started to look like what we were going for with this style. So spent some time on that, but for as much as I could, I pushed the material. I couldn't get the nice look because it was flat. It was completely flat. So that was it's hard to make something like that look good. So then I used the skin modifier that Nicolas made and started making the shape of the wings and then retopoing it, but it was a bit of a nightmare, so I gave up. And then I made proper wings, that they are actually, they have a little bit of thickness and they're more more wide here, and they're going to be a bit bent, and they have a thing, and I can paint nice white paint and stuff on it. But then the focus changed. So the focus changed to make the actual look of the character. The wings is a bonus, somebody told me. So first we need to get the look right. So with Sarah gave me this nice research pictures that are not ours, they're only for reference. We don't have any rights on them. But yeah, ideally it should look something like this. More creepy, yeah. More insect, yeah, like translucent and everything that is slow on a renderer. It should have it. But way less hair, especially not, you can see here that it has hair, but not as much. So yeah, it also has to have a lot of this weird scattering or whatever that is. And this is another picture I found online. But yeah, it should be something like that, more milkish. And yeah, I've been working on that the whole week, but I don't have much of advance. I just removed most of the hair and started working on the actual material underneath. So a little bit in the eyes. I just I removed all the hair altogether, and then I started making some poses, and the workflow for making the poses was a bit slow. Just to make the pose come back and forth, back and forth. So what I did also, let me share the thing. I did a little add-on to import and export the MDD files, the cache. So basically, you have this an animation. You set the frame range. You go to cache length. You specify a path, for example, the frames, 60 frames, and then just select the mesh, or you can also set the group if you want, and you can export the mesh. So it's not. Oh, it's not.
In the top header.
Yeah, because the thing wasn't active.
With the Python graph.
So you export the thing. It tells you that the geometry was exported. So now you can go to the other file, the animation file. And even though I think this one already has a mesh cache, you can just remove that, bring it over, select where is it, visiting guest. So you only do this once, and then you can import it, and then you should have the cache here selected, whatever the pose you wanted. And yeah, you have to give it the animation, but it's not set here. So as you can see, the animation is there. And the cool thing is that whenever this file gets updated, you don't have to do anything. If the name of the file changed, you can just press that and it's going to update it. So with that, I've been making poses and putting them there. And the cool thing is that you don't have to worry about migrating the vertex groups from one place to the other. And yeah, so with that, I've been doing some poses and animation tests. But
is that with?
You don't play it. You don't play the animation. Why don't you play?
You like it? Sure.
That's at least something. Let me see it. Play, Alt A.
But this is the one from.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Ah, something.
This is the one that Danielle made. So yeah, she's alive. And she even is puffing the. Yeah. But this is what I think Danielle made a video for it.
Yeah, there's a folder.
Yeah, there is. I put it on the wiki folder.
Yeah. So I also textured the interior of the mouth, but that's not, you can't see that. And the rest of the body is the same. I played a little bit with the shader of the legs, trying black legs, but I think we're going for still transparent and translucent and white.
Yes.
So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There is a folder too.
He put the video and.
Oh!
Yeah.
Ah.
We do Andy, right?
So who will do danken dan?
I can do Andy.
You can Andy en Sarah dat danken.
There we go.
So at least I show something. So I don't know which order should I show stuff. Andy, you're there. You're replying on the chat. So
You should drive him so he's faster.
so I think he started with Victor's hands, if I'm not wrong. I think so. No, but these are better hands. Yeah.
He's a real rush.
With actual nails. So yeah. Yeah, well, this is very cool. That's all I can say about it because I don't know. But there is also, oh, he also has been trying testing different with the hair, with more bounces, without bounces, and without bounces, with less bounces, and with or without transparency, and that has some really cool results. Victor has transparent hair again. He's saying on the chat. So this is 5 minutes. No transparent. This is not transparent. This is with transparency.
As you can see, the double amount of time.
It's twice the render time, which is good. It used to be 4 times the render time. And yeah, for when we did the llama thing, it was 4 times. And this is with 12 bounces against 4 bounces. So you can see you gain a little bit more light, but it goes to, yes, even more, from 9 to 12 minutes. Andy says he added more detail to all the crap. So that's pretty accurate, we can see. Then in that crap, I think it's included the dirt on the shirt, because it used to be very clean and now it's all nice dirt. There,
Just be careful while you're sitting.
So yeah, now everything.
How many buttons do you have?
We can go.
It's really long.
It has like nice little wrinkles over there.
So he has to make his own clothes.
So he also worked on a full size render, which shows also the dirt, but it also shows more details in the pants. Shirt has displacement even. Pants also have more details, which see at the end, and the socks and the shoes. It was probably very, let's see, how much was it? 8 minutes, not bad. Hours. No, minutes.
8 hours?
No, minutes.
What?
There's no transparency. Oh, there's just, I think.
8 minutes.
Yeah. And this is
There's no transparency.
3K by 2K. So besides that, he's also been working on a shot, because the idea was to work on a shot that everybody did except me. And this is the beginning. Yeah, but I'm showing the progress. This is the first one, the first example of just joining both characters with some strand. A little bit, yeah. But then the next one is much cooler. This is the one that came out of his computer last night. It's this is the one that was only 2 hours, with 1,200 samples. You can still see some noise here and there, but everything works pretty nice. It even has some depth of field and some sharp ass. Is it motion blur? No, it looks like
Yeah, looks like.
no, it looks like a blur maybe. Is the blur too sharp?
Very narrow depth of field.
This uses the film shed. Disable that. We might disable that.
Looks like very good.
Yeah, it's very nice. So he added some more details for the environment. For that, he's been doing modeling some essential parts for the floor. No, it's
It's a brilliant idea. How did you get that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just so you can use it all over. And what else? I think this one was with strands, and this is with the green grass. You can tell the difference. Yes.
Was that already supported in Blender before?
I don't know how this guy does it.
Somebody coded it.
Probably, yeah.
This is
But it's
something-
open.
This is something I did, this one, but it's not to look at Frank because it's way too dark on the original render. It's really-
The most crappy color for Blender on it.
Yeah, but still, I think on Victor and stuff, it looks quite interesting. But it's a bit darkish, and it's very dramatic. So I don't know. We will talk about this with Andy. He also thinks it's too dark, but
And this one?
this one is a less darker version. But I think it's the
It's
color, the skin tones,
quite
and
nice.
the dramatic feeling gets lost a bit. I think so.
That's like late afternoon, early evening feeling a bit? Or,
Early
like
morning.
Low or morning?
Early morning, I think. But it has to feel very, very dramatic, very low light, I think, because it's a place you don't want to live forever in. So the whole problem of the fog thing would be to be too heavenly, I think, to look like heaven too much. So, and you don't want to escape from heaven, supposedly. So, but it's just a good way to start talking about all those things. But I like how Victor pops up on this, like with the blue feeling around him and the color of his hairs, and especially his skin tones also really pops out well on this one. But
But was it also yellow?
the one that did Andy is yellowish because I think he's using some film emulation, which I did, and I did this on top of this, so it's like very shitty color grading on top of everything. But still,
Yeah.
Well, we will render everything without grading anyway. Of course, you have to know how we want to grade it. But so it's always HDR will allow you to do lots of tricks in the landscape.
well, if we can do it properly the right way,
Ah.
the first time, I'm totally fine with it also. So, no, we have to try many things, wide shots and close-ups.
So,
What's that?
that's it. Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Look at the grass. There, all yours.
All right.
Not all of it.
Well, why not? So, hello world.
We come back from Greece.
I'm back from Greece, slightly suntanned and
Slightly.
slightly.
They had some.
So, we've had a quite an interesting week for Mathieu, who was suffering, and we tried to minimize his suffering somewhat. We tried, yeah, but we did make it a little bit. So one of the problems we had was with the sequencer that was lagging every time we it changed the strip on high resolution videos. Basically, it had to load the whole first frames of the sequence. So I have a few comparison videos. I hope they can.
Maybe you can.
All right, just a minute. All right.
Is that the one? Maybe
Yeah,
it
that's the
VLC
one. Let me share it. Come on, come on, come on. Sorry. And share. Okay. All right. So, come on. Sorry. Okay. All right. So, let's try going back. Come on. Anyway.
Whoever set up his computer.
All right. So this is so what we see here is how slow it is, and then after it loads, how fast it goes. So now it's slow, and then it's fast after it loads. Again, slow. It's you see the same thing 3 times. So it's slow once while it's loading, and fast after.
Blender screen capture.
Yeah, this is a Blender
2
screen.
frames per second.
Yeah.
Like 12 frames per second.
No, but you can see that the first time it plays is slow, then fast and slow, then fast and slow.
Yeah. And so what we tried was this. Let's see if I can drag it. Please work.
Oh.
All right. So let me delete these so we can only see the fast. So this is the fast one, and this is the fast one. You can see it's almost the same speed now. So yeah.
What is it, the right speed?
Well, when you do screen capture, it loses some frames, but you can see the difference. It's almost the same the first and the second time. So
And that was because of?
that was
So
that was because FFmpeg tried to load the high resolution, tried to open the high resolution file before it opened the proxies every time. So we got that latency as well as the proxy latency.
Good.
All right, so that was solved. I hope we'll see if there's any remaining issues. So we also tried to make some tools to make proxying easier. So those are, I'm going to share, this is a screen capture of the new settings for proxies. And basically there was some confusion with, we added some operators first. The first one is this one, which allows you to set proxies for all the selected strips. So you don't have to go to each and every one of the strips and tick select proxies. So as soon as you click this, you get this dialog, and you click on the proxy settings that you want to create, and you press OK. And Sergey also wrote this override setting, which basically does not override any proxy files if they exist already. So, for example, if you had a long sequence with many strips that were using the same file, then the system would just regenerate again and again the proxies for the same file because it was referenced in so many strips. And the override setting just allows you to, if you disable it, actually, it allows you to skip that. And we also have the rebuild proxy button here in the proxy panel, so you don't have to go to the menu to look for it or search for it in the menu. So it's a little bit of a workflow thing to make things faster and easier for the users. All right, next we had some features for painting that were requested by Manu and Andy. And so I added the support for dithering when we're painting on byte images. I'm not sure how well you can see it here. So you can see there is some lines that are caused by bending. Yeah, exactly. But you can still see it. And this is with dithering. It's still apparent, but yeah, it's a little bit less. Yeah, I'm not even sure if people can see it on YouTube. I don't think so.
If you press number 1, you can.
Yeah. Right.
So maybe there.
Let's see. Yeah, it's yeah. Yes.
But actually, people watching the stream, they might see it, or not because of the compression.
Yeah, I think there is some difference visible, but I'm not sure how visible it is. And finally, I did another feature to support cycles better in texture painting. And basically, if you hook a UV map node into an image node in cycles, you get to see the correct UV map on your model.
Or you don't have to always go to the UV thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was the bit. Yeah.
What
That
is the
was
warning in the header?
the wording. The header is the
Reload
reload
trusted.
trusted
Beautiful,
thing.
best.
How can he have that?
People might hack into my computer. People sending me bug reports. Yes.
Purposely disable it.
No, not really. I think Francesco and I. Yeah, I'm joking, but
But the whole idea was that people could set one directory to be not trusted, which is the one with the default root by your browser. So everything you load from the web gets not trusted, but everything else gets trusted. That was a reasonable working system.
Yeah, but nobody says that because you have to go to the preferences, set auto run, exclude folder, select the folder, and save your settings.
I'm on.
and I think I'm done here. I don't have anything else to show. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is the end of the sequence story then? What was the? I missed the end of the sequence story.
The end of the sequence story is that we fixed that, I hope. At least on my computer it looks fixed.
But he was shaking no.
If he says no, I'm going to look at it again. So we'll see.
The project.
Did it get a little bit better?
I don't believe you. I have to look at it again.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah. All right.
And what is weird is that at some point it worked.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago it worked. This.
But then there was something with the sound. Wow.
Yes, but we
I still have to do the Nicolas tweak, the thing you've made on my computer a few weeks ago about the SDL and the AR stuff. Since we reinstalled the Linux, we should do it again. I don't have the option anymore.
Oh, that's
On
bad.
SDL again. So.
You gotta get that SDL in there.
Actually, I thought Sergey fixed
That sort of,
something with STL?
yeah, the dynamic
That's
loading. I don't
So if you could look at that one very together. No?
Yeah.
We don't give up on the sequence.
No, I know.
No.
I know.
No.
Not yet.
It takes until the last day of the project.
and half of the resources of the
I'm
project.
still editing, so that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Francesco?
Yeah. Well, this week I've been working
Louder.
on different pipeline topics, like actually supporting people trying to use BAM in the studio, and preparing some shots for animation. That's something that Bjorn and Sarah have been working on. So I've been talking to Mathieu about the shot he needed, and I prepared them with the aid of BAM. And that took quite a bit of time, but it was one of the things I worked on. And I spent a considerable amount of time designing in detail the next steps for the render farm, which Gabriel will present later because he's been working basically all full time on them. So we actually achieved something. And then I've been trying to work on the Blender Cloud. And even though I didn't really develop the solution we were looking for at the beginning of the week, at least I managed to put together a design that is, I think, what we need and what we want, that is feasible, and it can work well for us too. So it can be done maybe next week, and it will be something good for the cloud and also for our production pipeline. And in general, it will be a good thing. So I'm quite happy about that because I had doubts about how the status of the cloud itself, how the data was handled and stuff like that. But I managed to find a solution, it seems. And I think that was pretty much it.
Hey, Bjorn, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm the tourist of the project. So I stopped by. Could you operate it? Because I
Yeah,
feel
sure.
like I'm going to stop it.
There are 2 videos and 2 files.
Bjorn
Yeah,
is,
the blends are just backups.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So this week I've just been doing some animation tests on Frank the sheep.
with sound, right?
Yeah, with sound.
Yeah,
So this is lip sync.
dark gray on gray.
Yeah, good old OpenGL.
Yeah. How would you know? Well, because I have the solution. You're so much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Yeah. How would you know? Well, because I have the solution. You.
So that's,
Another video.
yeah, there's the second one as well. It's a bit longer.
Let me remove the other one.
Well, Mr. Hector, I don't know what you're on about, but I'm just a sheep minding its own business. And I suggest you do the same. No, wait, okay. Well, Mr. Hector, I don't know what you're on about, but I'm just a sheep minding its own business. And I suggest you do the same. No, wait, okay.
That's good.
Wow, Mr. Hector, I don't know what you're on about, but I'm just a sheep minding its own business. And I suggest you do the same. No, wait.
I walk on the eyebrows.
Cheers. Yeah.
Awesome.
You use the reference.
Yeah, I started with a reference, but it's that one is a long way from the reference now.
I still see a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because I started with the reference. Yeah, because that gave me a good starting point and a few random things I wouldn't have thought of, but then I took it elsewhere. And Manu would talk about this a bit more, but this was good to do an animation test and then check the render, because the way it looks with hair is quite different, and particularly the eyebrows. So, we'll see that later on, but yeah, there's going to be a bit of backwards and forwards. Also with the ears, like I've done a bit of animation on those ears, but I don't actually know how much they're going to move, how floppy they are, and that sort of thing. So I'll be interested to see.
Sheep can do with it. Can you do everything?
It depends on the sheep, how much wool is there, and yeah, exactly.
You have to move the water right around it.
I think a freshly shorn sheep can
I
probably
think
do a
sheep
lot
can
more.
do a lot with their ears, right?
But
Not sure.
Can our sheep move his ears?
But the thing is that he has donkey ears
Yeah.
instead of sheepy ears. So, but since you should have the wall around that hides the root part just to show us the tip, that does the trick. But here you really feel like he's a donkey instead of a sheep.
yeah,
It's,
so until you see it with the hair,
You can
it's
make it hang more.
going to have to be
yeah.
backwards.
No,
and
if you
forwards.
hang it more, it's even more donkey.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You hang it upwards.
Sheep ears are
like that,
this.
horizontal.
Yeah. And then with heaps of wool, they're going to be held up by the wool, and you don't want to have too much floppiness otherwise. So,
That's a very good test.
It's still a cool sheep. Good, yeah?
Cool. Okay. So I put in my folder. Oh, it's all in. Well, you already seen that, but that was the made a little reference for for Pablo to make the wings with the reference, so he could start with the wings. So let's go to the next one. So I did a bit more of tweaking. That was the render of last week, and then I did a bit more of tweaking of the SSS and the stuff like that. So now it looks more SSS-y, more. And made the SSS bigger, so we had more the scale thing. So that will also change it, the lighting, put the lighting, the light setup that Andy made, and it helped also a lot with the eyes.
Oh, eyelashes.
The eyelashes are going away.
Is that
Actually,
all away? Yeah.
yeah, they're going away because
Oh, they look better now at least.
yeah. Then I also worked a lot on the eyes. That's the next one, where I tried to make them a bit more profound and more detailed and stuff. And you can see the eyelashes almost disappeared. Because Mathieu didn't like them, so I made them so tiny and so little that he would not notice them. Because I don't want to remove them at all. So I made them really, really
So zoom out a bit,
discreet.
just- Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, I worked a bit on the eyes to make them better. And then that was waiting for Juan Pablo to finish the rig. So when he finished the rig, I did a pose. So that's the next next image. Yep. So that was the first pose with Juan Pablo's facial rig and Daniel a rig for the body, but I still don't have for the pose, so you will see always super straight and stiff hands. So that's not intended, of course. The next one is the same same thing, but with tweakings of the camera with Mathieu, trying with the anamorphic bokeh and stuff, and trying different length, focal length, to have a more dramatic view of it. So yeah, that was the first test with the pose, and then I started animating in order to make a first test moving. It has sound, so. So I animated, it lags still a bit, it's not finished, but it's something.
I could get used to this. I could get used to this.
That's it.
I could get used to this.
Yep, that is my way.
I just leave it there while you move.
And
That's something to.
Huh?
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
and Daniel, oh, yes.
Oh,
Sorry,
Daniel.
and Daniel let a video and he explained himself the rig, so I will let him explain.
5 minutes.
De hagelslagrig.
Hold on.
What?
Hey, I got lots of good stuff to show you guys. So the first thing is probably that I've divided the rig into layers.
5 minutes.
The first layer is body. And the body is currently the tail. Also contains the neck, the head, the eyes, or well, the main eye controllers, and the antenna. Okay, next layer will be the face ruff. Face ruff contains the controllers for the eyelids and controllers for the mouth, like the jaw, which is pretty. I did a kind of stretchy behavior, so you can do things like this, and pose it however you want. Also, you can rotate it to get some special effects, and the nose too, pretty similar. You use it however you want, and also rotate it. So next, well, also the nose can be rotated. This little thing she has can be rotated also, or well, moved, or anything you need. That looks ugly. Okay. And third is the face details layer, which controls the all these little dots that and their parents sometimes that control different areas of the face. Yeah. Okay. Also, I've added this little circle that controls the puff, the cheek puff, and it can go inwards too, but looks kind of creepy, but it can, or outwards. Pretty nice for making funny smiles. And that's it for now. Another thing I wanted to show, well, I got an animation here, so I can show you this better. It's kind of a quick animation to test the rig. But I figured that sometimes some of these layers may interfere when you're working. So that's why I've not only added the button for the visibility, but also this eye here is like a mute button. So if I'm here in this frame and I press the disable the visibility of the body effects, then the character will ignore everything that is on this layer, and you can then focus on this animation. And the same we got for every other layer. For example, face rough, I can disable it, and now, well, probably a good idea to also hide it. So now we are only seeing the effect of the details. So I figured that could be useful. Here we are only seeing the effect of the face rough animation without the details. So you can see how the details help. It's pretty cool. Okay, that's it. I think I just forgot to mention one silly thing. Well, I'm currently working on adding some more corrective shape keys because this rig has not many corrective shape keys yet, but it has some. For example, the eyebrow already does like a wrinkle if you get these guys close enough. And yep, that's it.
Skip.
Yo, what have you done this week?
Nothing.
Studio scouting?
About that.
Yeah, 14 beers. When I was working on the render farm, why I can't enter on the Pablo,
Okay.
I can't enter in the folder.
No,
Tick,
it's
tick,
stuck.
tick. Oh,
Yeah, it's stuck. So, this beautiful
File
operating
browser.
system.
It was.
File browser.
The recording.
Anyway,
The file browser doesn't work.
anyway, this is now you can open that.
Oh,
We have
Ahí está.
enough developers here to fix that.
Acá está el screenshot.
okay. This is some commits I did on the Blender GitHub project. This is how it looks now. I have added the timelines. And I will show you a bit here.
Oh, nice.
In,
I'm not sure what am I seeing.
This is a picture and this is the live.
Ah,
This is
yeah.
live. This is
The reality.
coming from the shower.
the picture
Yeah.
looks the same.
Progress.
Okay.
the picture is backup.
Just in
So
case.
there is
Yeah.
a gray image.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
has been stopped. Okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Stop. This is running now.
Ah,
Manu test.
cool.
Now we can also take a look to the render.
Look at that.
Oh, this is the last render, and
You
I
see
can
the
show you.
statistics? Like how much the render time is for one frame?
No, not
Next week.
Exactly.
Next week.
I will stop this for the moment
Wow.
and show you how to add a new shot. Oh, it's not working well.
It's because it's hanging.
It's hanging. Is it stopping it?
Okay, broke.
Should have
No.
only.
Done.
Now
Ah.
I can browse. I have this test file. It's just a cube. I name it. Select some settings. This is the manager and shop. Waiting, connecting,
It's adding it. It's doing all kind of.
and well,
Bam.
showing the default image because it's
Still
the
running.
render is starting. Yeah, and maybe
Starting.
wait a bit.
There you
Start.
go.
Not a
Showing.
great picture.
Yeah,
But blurred. So
Yeah,
it's like
blur-
half an hour.
yeah. This is.
But
Yeah,
there's a
it's
cube
a big-
coming by. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
cool.
And that is
Awesome.
How many nodes are now on? 4, 6, 4. But we will turn on more Monday.
Your chore.
All right, we're gonna try and do a live demo.
What?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
You're sure?
This is gonna go. Yeah.
Very
Somehow
nice.
I'm gonna need you to tell me how to do everything.
Yeah. So you open Blender.
No. We open Special Blender.
Type.
Let's see. Do. Where's shared? There's shared.
No, it's actually up there.
Oh.
That's your folder.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. How do I open a terminal?
Control Alt, yeah. But then you have to browse it. LS CD. I'm telling so that people can.
30, Nicholas Bishop, Blender PTEX 07 bin, Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Bam.
Boom. All right, let's see if this
So then-
actually starts. It does. Cool.
Now you need to move this somewhere
I
here.
need to move it there. Okay.
Double click on the thing so it goes full screen. On the header, on the
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Now you need to come to this window.
That
Don't
window.
close it. Screen share. Move the mouse somewhere there. Then press the green button.
Green button. Cool.
Now select the thing with the blues there. Click.
Okay.
Now
Cool.
it's ready. Now move the mouse somewhere here.
All right.
That's really fun.
So, the first thing you should be impressed by is that this build works at all, because that's really hard to get
There's a bookmark.
things to do. Bookmark where? Bookmark, please. Navigate some folders again. Okay. So, we're going to start pretty much from scratch here. Let's see, how do we do this? We have to go into texture paint.
Wow.
We're going to add a PTEX layer, and we're going to add a PTEX node.
Wow.
Ooh, goes in circles.
Yeah, it cycles. And no.
Yeah. Too close, too close.
There we go. All right, and now hopefully, okay. So this is a default test PTEX layer with just every face right now is getting 32 by 32 texels as a default with a little test render, so you can
Excellent.
see that there's something there. And once you add the PTEX layer, no need for UVs or anything. You should pretty much be able to get started painting right away. Don't crash, don't crash. Boom, there it goes. Okay, not crashing. So let's see. Yeah, normal painting tools work, you know, face select, all that good stuff. You can also use the face select to change the resolution of an area. So for example, here we're bringing down the resolution a little bit, and when we paint on it now, you can see this area is much lower res, you don't need as much detail there. And of course, you can step up the detail as well. And whoops. And then you can get more detail in that area
Wow.
for every face.
That's awesome.
Let's see. And in theory, things like adding multiple layers should work now. Let's see if this happens.
Wow, you're brave.
Yeah,
It's 3D.
I know, right? Okay, so let's see. Now we have 2 layers here, and we should be able to paint on the second one just the same. Each layer has independent detail levels, so if you need to have a layer where like you have a higher density color map and a lower density specular layer or something like that, that should work fine.
Super advanced.
Yeah. And let's see what happens if we render. Oh, good. It shows
Wow.
things.
You can paint while it renders.
So with normal text painting, I think it updates at the end of the stroke. With PTEX, for whatever reason, it doesn't show anything immediately. So you have to like back in and out of it, but yeah, you can. Whoops.
Look how fast this computer is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Monkey
see.
machine with no lights.
Any other features we should talk about? Oh yeah, only other thing is that this code is now pushed to a new branch. So everything here you should be able to get from whatever Cycles PTEX branch. And there's some documentation on the Blender wiki. Under my username, just click PTEX. And I think that is about it.
Wow.
We already do local area PTEX. But you said, well, we want to have for the whole model, the face only PTEX.
The PTEX layer covers the whole thing, but you can, of course, just kill all the detail for the rest of it. And then only the faces you care about would have, yeah, real texels.
But you only have half a double now, but of course you can make that. That means
Half a what?
doubles every time, right?
Yeah.
You press it 10 times, you got 1,000.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
You know people will do that.
Yeah, there is actually a limit in there. I'm not going to try it on this computer because it's a large limit.
Do
But
not press this button 10 times.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's left? I mean, it's,
Oh, actually, one more thing I'll show is that in theory modifiers should work correctly.
okay.
Let's
Mine did
see.
that, yeah.
Oh, and you do have to be in this material mode to see it, by the way. So let's try some modifiers.
Ocean.
Let's do some.
Explode.
Mirroring should work. Let me move that away a little bit so you can see it. Oh, by the way, going into edit mode didn't crash, so that's cool. So,
Wow.
mirror mod, all the things that you should be used to from normal texture painting, basically.
Can you use PTEX textures already for modifiers? Or?
No. Although I did code that in an earlier version of the branch, it's totally easy. Yeah, it's actually pretty nicely abstracted in the modifier stack right now. So, okay, now that's actually it.
Awesome. Look at that.
So
Yeah, if you need any new artists on the project.
Every character's UV has been done already, right?
What?
Every character's UV has been done already?
How can I break it? You know how can
I don't know. I don't understand why.
Like really?
Try to
That's not the ocean way.
Like edit mode is, huh? Can you edit the mesh after and then
You can, however, the interpolation is not quite correct right now.
you can. What happens if I, for example, take these faces?
Oh man, what's he doing? What's he doing?
I don't know. I'm just adding new.
Yeah.
What is this now? When I extrude it, what layer?
That's the interpolation being entirely not coded yet. So it just made something up.
Okay, but what is supposed to do? It makes like new
What should it do is
textureless
copy
faces.
existing custom data layers.
Oh,
So it'd be sort of like if you had multi-res on there and you extruded it, except hopefully without weird spiky things.
What's that?
Well, you have to not crash it. He's crashed it.
no, I'm not. It's actually not. Didn't crash. Otherwise, it would. I tried to crash it by extruding and doing weird things.
It's Linux desktop effect.
No, this is the I don't know. It's
Then it
just
crashed.
no, it didn't crash. It property not found, shader not mix, RGB text. I got that before
Yeah.
from another. I don't know what
I
is
think
it.
it's showing up in
Memory?
current master right now. Some weird.
Yeah, no,
It is
it's.
a whole 32-bit system.
Oh, I shouldn't close this.
Who knows?
This is.
Anyway, awesome.
Anyway, who's next?
Matthias,
Hello.
we do clockwise.
I don't have anything to show this week because I was editing and selecting text and trying to fix the editor as we go, the sequencer. I also went to writing a few things down and stuff like that, so not lots of things to show actually. Tweaked a bit the beginning or so. To me, the island is almost 99% final for me, except maybe the tornado, depending on how it will evolve from the artistic thing. But the rest of it is okay. So good enough, I think, to move on. So that's it. Not a lot. Just expanding the editing for the jungle part and trying to fix the dialogues between Frank and Terra, picking the right takes for the two main scenes where they meet up, because it's a bit tricky to really well define both of them. They both try to steal the scene away from the other in every dialogue they have. So I'm trying to keep the balance between meeting Tara, discovering her, and also having fun with Frank, which is a fucking caterpillar, and struggle with it. So it's a bit tricky right now, but I'm pretty confident we could have it because the actors did lots of different takes, so that was good. And that's what I'm investigating right now with the sequencer, with my proxy files.
You can still post some screenshots about what you do.
Yeah, and as soon as I have something that is capable of being shown, I'll do a tutorial about how we work with this, because there's a lot of new features in the sequencer from Andonis and a bit of Campbell also and Sergey. So there's a lot of new things to show. The scene in a scene in a scene in a scene, Inception style in the sequencer. So,
Yeah, this is the best video editor in open source on the planet, right?
For some reason.
But he wants to have it as good as this Adobe thing. Which
I
is,
just wanted to be able to play a cut. That's all I ask.
Come on now.
okay, yeah, to be able to play.
But that's coming, so that's okay.
Okay, next week. Well.
Yep.
Oh. Lucas.
Yeah, I don't have much to show. There's a few screenshots, but it's not very interesting. Anyway,
Bug fixes.
bug fixes. There was a pretty important bug in the particle system that when you reload a file, particles don't show up. It was a threading thing that's fixed now. Then, yeah, you can show that. I played around with physics a little more, but didn't get that far. No, too much other things. Anyway, then there was the shape keys thing. So, yeah.
You did it.
Well, yeah, the shape keys are somewhat improved now. They're not quite finished yet, so a little bit tricky still. But we need to basically pose the sheep and then move the hair out of the way so that the hair doesn't intersect with the body and so on. And of course,
shape keys.
yeah. Well, of course, the first idea then is let's do collisions, but that's not really an artist's tool because it works over time, and you have to basically move the character in an animation in order to make the collision work. So we need something that works for artists as a rigging sort of tool. And yeah, the shape keys I already had basically, so that's the first solution there. We can think of other things like modifiers for hair or something, but for now that's the best solution, I think. Yeah, and I worked a little more on the. Oh yeah, that thing is a nice little feature that Manu requested for the add tool, because he's working with a tablet and adding single hairs is difficult when you have a pen, because then it always adds multiple hairs. And so you can disable this now, and it only adds a single hair with every click. Just yeah, I think that's it.
I hope to see the shape keys rock.
Yeah,
Sure. Really hope that rocks.
We didn't have any tests yet.
But in the
to
code
ship,
camp,
so-
but also in the
Yeah.
film, like
Yeah, we need
like,
Manu or
can we
somebody needs to
use it?
use them actually.
The next Antonis and the end with Manu.
So change places. You want to speak again? You got me.
Gaan we wel doen.
Yeah, just it was so technical week. It was these poses are made by the Juan Bablo. So now we are transferring all the grooming and texturing stuff over to the rig.
Ah.
Uh,
Oh, you can see in the mouth.
yeah,
Yeah.
hair on the mouth.
That's,
Nobody will nowadays.
Yeah.
It can be eight software.
It's plus. Yeah.
Like a cat. Election salad. He's pulling. What's he doing here?
That's cute.
Remind me of the
This is a stupid nephew.
of Linguini.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you can see it.
Mm.
This is Putin. Good.
He's moving, of course.
But of course, the fur needs a lot of definement before we get to see the poses well.
Yeah, it was just transferring like without any tuning.
Yes, yes.
The question is if the shape keys are actually usable, or if that's actually too much work, because basically for every pose you would have to move the hair. So
Wow,
we have to test that and see if it's feasible.
That's how you people do it.
Yeah, next one.
It's like skin fixing with for hair.
Oh yeah, the quick blog post. It's on the blog. Next one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
With documented notes.
Yeah, Campbell.
Yeah,
that
now
was
you can
nice.
have a in the frame note. You can have a thing.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. Starting to work on the feet.
That's nice.
It's much better here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's brighter. Nice.
There's
I don't know. There is still quite a lot of work ahead.
Does he have shiny roofs or does he
Maybe a little bit.
feet?
Yeah.
But sheep have 2 feet, 2 toes, right?
Yes.
There is that.
That's okay, I only almost see it, but I wonder. Huh?
Yes, it's okay.
They have toes.
No. Yeah, and
That's
neck.
why.
Yeah, there is also the video probably.
Oh yeah.
That's the Björn animated scene with hair.
Hold on. To your hat.
You're so much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Oh, yeah. How would you know? Well, because
Oh, the lights goes up.
You're so much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Oh, yeah. How would you know? Well, because
You're what? You're what?
You're so much more than just
The solution.
Very nice.
Yeah, but you can see the problem with the hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also with the
I
eyebrow.
see.
Yeah.
It's up there.
You need a hair wig, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Because you can't depend on the neck to form all the hair.
That was what Pablo was suggesting.
In the next image, we probably are starting to develop the ring system for the hair, but it is like to get something for the neck. But yeah.
So how does it work? You model.
Is it already working, or is it just an idea?
It's just an idea.
Yeah, I was thinking, how would you do it?
And yeah, it's.
But if you have a control of a rig on top of this, that can work.
Juan Pablo was suggesting to have a mesh deform modifier for hair.
Yeah,
Which
that's
would
great
work.
too.
So you could basically
The
deform
problem
outer
is not for the
shell.
overall shape. I think the problem is really for the root part of it, because it's very long hairs. So as soon as it is born from a mesh deform already on the mesh, his neck is like super long and thin. So every time you will just have a slight movement.
Yeah, but that's basically
placement will move.
that's the idea, that you have the mesh deform works not just on the root, so it doesn't just move the whole hair, but it actually works on the tips and on the root differently, so it deforms the hair to follow the outer shape, and you don't get these weird
That would be great.
scissor intersections.
Yeah, we need to test that as well. But it's not easy.
But on the other hand, it doesn't have to move that much, because it's packed in a solid ball of wool. It's really tight. It's
Yeah,
not
but
like
still
that
he is deforming, you know.
has to be able to deform it too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when he
okay.
moves his hair, his head has to move the hairs with it. So that's tricky. But I think the other way around would be more smart like this.
If he has his back on this wall, if he moves, it just moves very up to here, but it doesn't have to move here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm to be very local.
Or we just have a magic simulation button.
Of course, yeah, that's
That's a
always.
great
Next to the big red button.
Sounds so simple.
Why does everybody assume that simulation makes things easier?
Because that's just one way to have to when I press it, then we complain to you.
Actually, the ring,
Nice render.
render of the rings.
Yeah,
Did
but
you see going
it's
to cut hair on the side or not?
should
A little bit more or less?
maybe more.
What do you have to do with hair?
But it has, no?
It has.
I mean, but like wool.
Ah,
Oh, on his head, maybe it needs a bit.
Like
Maybe a bit.
Mm.
But,
like a haircut.
like a what? Like an Elvis, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it
Just
can be
beetle.
trapped a bit more.
Yeah, bravo.
maybe just it was a bit
Yeah.
more in the front.
But he's older, maybe he's not having hair anymore.
Yeah, I'm old,
I think it might work.
Yeah, but that's it.
So what's going on with the eyes of the sheep and the thing? I see the small ones and big ones. Decision or is that going to shine too?
The what?
The iris.
No, that was the pose of Juan Pablo where he did the iris like this.
Ah, okay, that's not the purpose.
No.
For the scenes where he's on drugs.
I thought you guys were testing different types of.
No, that's just the pose that was like that.
You have control over it completely on read. It's really good.
The other thing is the iris shouldn't be something with the broad better if it's circular. But now it feels like it's deformed because the whole eyeball is deformed.
Yeah, the Mathieu said that too, but the problem is how do we do that? Because yeah, the eyeball is deformed. How do you keep a normal iris without?
I asked him the coders.
Yeah, coders
On the riggers
or the
is
riggers.
the one deforming it.
Yeah. Because you can make it more circular. I think it will help making it appear. Because you see it a bit when the eyes move. It's not very nice that you see it moving in the deformation and stuff a bit. If it stays circular, it probably will become
maybe.
stronger, right?
So we talked about it, but yeah.
It's difficult. But you can, it doesn't move that much, so you can, in the rest position it can be circular.
Yeah, but the problem is as soon as you will move it on the sides, it goes wrong because then it starts to deform even more.
But then you make deforming corrective shape piece.
That's why I was thinking.
It's for later, but I thought it's maybe
Yeah,
a little thing that
It
might
might-
help.
it might be a
attention
problem.
well.
we have to ask Juan Pablo how to study the problem a bit.
To give him more problems.
Yeah.
So the eye sockets are so much deformed, you can't make it a sphere anymore.
No.
It's not possible. And the same is for the caterpillar.
Yeah.
But
It's
the caterpillar eyes have a bit more shape.
they had the same eyes, same drop shape, and it's specific to Frank, so cannot remove it.
Good. And you can stop.
90 minutes.
We already
Yeah.
stopped, right?
No, actually.
No. Oh, then we
I
say
don't know.
goodbye to the internet. Bye, internet. Ah.
Bye, internet.
Click.
Bye, wait.